If you've ever looked at your camera's mode dial and felt overwhelmed by all of the letters, especially A and M, you're not alone. A lot of beginners wonder, should I be shooting in Aperture Priority or should I be in full manual mode? In this video, I'm going to break it down simply so you know exactly when to use each one and when it's actually worth switching. Most cameras have several shooting modes, but today we're focusing on two of the most important ones, Aperture Priority and Manual mode. These two modes are where a lot of photographers spend most of their time, but many people aren't sure which one they should be using or when it's time to switch. Aperture Priority is often the smarter choice for everyday shooting, while Manual mode gives you more control in certain situations. By the end of this video, you'll understand the differences between the two and know exactly when to use each mode. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to look at these. I have a little PowerPoint to go with it, so I'm hoping that this will help these Photography 101 videos. So, if you look at the top of the camera, you're going to see the mode switch, right? It's going to have P, S, A, and M. That's the four that you're going to see 90% of the time. Occasionally you'll have a camera like this one in the photograph where it says PH, which is like program high for higher speeds. Alright, so do you guys shoot in Aperture Priority or Manual mode? That's the question we're going to answer today. Alright, we're going to break it down into like a car analogy. Some people probably don't really understand the nuances between manual and aperture priority, so we're going to kind of put it into something most people can relate to. It's like having an automatic transmission or a manual transmission. Okay? Aperture priority being the automatic transmission and manual being the manual transmission. Aperture priority, which is usually labeled A or AV on your camera, like Nikon's will be A, Canon's will be AV, is like driving a car with an automatic transmission, okay? You got a choice. You can go forward or backwards, drive or reverse. You only choose one thing, basically the aperture, okay? Now, this controls how much light comes into the camera, how blurry or sharp the background looks, which is called depth of field. Now, if you look on this camera right here, so Nikon F4, I think you can probably see the aperture ring turning. That's what you're going to be adjusting in aperture priority mode. You'll make that change, and the camera will make the shutter speed change for you. So, easy, right? You're just going to set the aperture and the camera will set the shutter speed for you, so you don't have to think about anything except what you want to control with the aperture. Alright, so what does the aperture control? It controls the amount of light that comes into the lens, and it controls how much is in focus in the photograph. Alright, so what's manual mode? When you put your car, if you have a manual transmission car, you still have the choice of forward and reverse, right? You still got that basic choice, but you've also got another thing you have to take into account, and that is what gear the car needs to be in to maintain the speed you want to go. So that's very similar to manual mode in a camera. The difference is, with the manual mode in the camera, you have to think about the aperture you want to set, and you got to make a choice on the shutter speed so that will work. Okay, so you're thinking about two things, not just one. Nothing in manual mode is automatic. You have to make every change and every decision. Alright, so when would you use what mode? Alright, so if you're just starting out, I would suggest you use aperture priority mode. It's easier to learn and you only control one thing. Okay? If you're taking portraits Aperture priority mode is probably the best one because you're going to want a blurry background. So you're going to shoot at a wide aperture, like 2.8 or 1.4. If you're doing landscapes, aperture priority is probably also a good choice because you're going to want to use a very small aperture like f16 or f22 to get the maximum amount of the photograph in focus. Let's say you're doing tricky lighting. You're shooting a picture of something and it's backlit by the sun. Okay, if you put it in aperture priority and you say I want to shoot at f5.6, the camera is going to get the corresponding shutter speed for that, but it's going to do it based on the brightest part of the scene. Okay, it's going to see all that light that's coming from behind, and it's going to basically silhouette your subject. You're going to have a very dark subject, but the sky will be in really good exposure. So what you want to do is you'll put it in manual mode for that, and if the camera says that it needs to have f8 to make the exposure, and it's a backlit subject, you would open up the aperture 2 stops. So instead of 8, you do 5.6, then 4. That's 2 stops, and then that would give you a proper exposure. All right, another reason you'd want to use manual exposure is long exposure. Okay, so like light trails, star trails, any kind of thing where you want to show motion at night with streaks of light. Because you're going to want to use a very slow shutter speed. And you're probably going to want to use a very wide open aperture to get as much light in as possible. So you would set that up to where you can do a long shutter speed and get like 10 seconds to get lots of light trails. All right, what about studio work? In the studio, you're going to probably control all the lighting. So you're going to set it up and you're not going to change it. You're going to sit there like if you're photographing a widget. You're going to set your lighting up. You're going to photograph that widget until you're done photographing that widget. So you would want nothing to change. So if you put it in manual mode and you set the aperture and you set the shutter speed, your lighting will stay consistent the entire time. And then, of course, you got full creative control. So like if you just want to take care of every control and make every choice, then you would want to use manual. So this is not an exhaustive list. There are more instances, and we could probably go through a bunch of them, but this kind of gives you an idea on some of the most basic stuff you'd be doing. All right, so let's do some examples. In this photo, we have a portrait, and this was shot at, I believe, 1.2 on an 85 1.2. And you can see the foreground, the rocks closest to the camera are out of focus, and then of course everything from right behind the girl in the photo all the way to the back is out of focus. That's what happens with a shallow depth of field. When you shoot with a wide open aperture, that's the result. And of course in portraiture, that is what you're after in probably 99% of the time. Unless you're doing like an environmental portrait and you need to show that detail, then that's the 1% where you would change that. All right, so here's another example. Low light. All right, this was a concert, and if you look at the stage environment, you can see it's dark. You can barely see the area behind him. So you would want to use an aperture that would bring in a lot of light. Okay, so a wide open aperture like 2.8. But you have to be careful because if you go too large of an aperture, the depth of field is going to be so narrow you may have a problem getting the whole face in focus. And if you can look at this at 2.8, this was focused on his eye, and then if you look straight down where he's strumming the guitar, that's in focus because that's all in the same plane of focus. But if you look at his hand that's holding the neck of the guitar, that is all out of focus. So had this aperture been 1.2 or 1.4, you would have had a hard time getting his entire face in focus. Like his ear might have been out of focus, and sometimes that can look kind of odd. So you got to make sure you got enough depth of field for what you're doing. All right, here's an example of the tricky light. Photographing directly into the sun, and the camera said f11 is what we needed to be at, so which would have put the car in silhouette. It would have been very, very dark. You just saw some detail and some color in it, but it would have, for the most part, been entirely too dark to make a photograph. So I opened it up 2 stops, 5.6, and did my pan, and everything comes out right. The car comes out correctly exposed. The sky is overexposed, but you can look at it and see that that was going straight into the sun, so it makes sense. All right, so other times you want to have maximum depth of field. So in this particular instance, I set it at f32 to get everything from the foreground. And if you look down the very bottom right corner of this image, there's a little tuft of grass there, and you can see that grass is in focus. So from there all the way to the horizon, you have acceptable focus, and that's the whole point of having something with a large depth of field. You want to be able to see that entire scene and have it all in focus. Now, obviously, the mist, the overspray from the mist and everything coming over the cliffs is making it look like it's, soft and hazy, but that's not the focus. That's the actual mist in the water or in the atmosphere. All right, so also by using a big aperture like that, or a small aperture like that, sorry, f32, you're also using a very slow shutter speed. So that's what gets the blur in the water. That's why you see some movement in the water. All right, so a simple rule for beginners. I would start in aperture priority, and you don't need to switch to manual until you have a reason to switch to manual. So if you want to control something or want to increase the exposure by a couple of stops because it's backlit, that's when you would make your change. Now, we will talk about exposure compensation in another video, and with exposure compensation, you wouldn't, if you had a backlit subject, you would not even have to, open it up 2 stops. You can just leave it in auto aperture priority and set the aperture to what you want it. And then you use the exposure compensation dial, which would then dial back the shutter speed and get the exposure you need. And like I say, we'll go over that in another video. So to wrap things up, aperture priority is usually the best mode to start with, especially when you're learning. It lets you control the look of your photos through aperture while the camera handles the shutter speed. Only switch to manual mode when you have a specific reason, like tricky lighting or long exposure, or when you need full control over your settings. If this video helped clear things up for you, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future videos on photography tips and camera settings. Just a quick note, some of the links in the description are affiliate links. This means I may receive a small commission if you make a purchase through them, at no extra cost to you. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep shooting.